Welcome back to the Talk of the Town podcast. We have an absolute treat in store for you today. The three Town boys are back on the pod. Angus is back after his week hiatus while he was keeping Well Park Farming Co. In business. Angus, how are we? Welcome.
Good. Look, it wasn't only Well Park Farming, but it was the country in general. Look, the nation needed me. They called me and I answered. Okay. So when the nation calls you, you pick up the phone, you answer it.
That's if running the nation looks like sitting on a header for 2 weeks.
Mate, it's been a rugby league effort, but no, it's good to be back. Yeah, look, the getting up early and doing uni before you then get all the harvest kit ready, harvest all day, then come back at night and do more uni. I'm really getting sick of it.
It wears thin, doesn't it?
And I love driving headers, and even sitting in the header, I'm going, oh, I'm kind of getting sick of this.
Well, yeah. Before we keep going on, a little bit of chit chat about what the boys have been up to. Harry, welcome.
Yes, no, hello. Just coming off a big long week at school. When I go to school, come back, hop on the tractor, go to bed, and that's about all.
It's not so much a hop on the tractor; it's just kick Iden off the tractor, and Harry just takes over on the new tractor.
So what? That's a great segue.
I've been stuck on the old one the last 2 days. It's been atrocious.
On the 747 ABC grandstand.
No, I found a way to get connected to the old 1996 Bluetooth. It's been good.
Any recommendations of note from either of you from your time on the header or the chaser bin from Harvest so far?
Look, Triple M from time to time. Sometimes I catch myself whenever you turn the header on or off. Or actually, it happens more so when I'm out of the cab. I'll go and like check on the header or check out the back to see if I've been throwing any grain out the back. And my phone will disconnect from the Bluetooth in the header. And so when I come back into the header, there's just like Triple M or 747 blasting. And it's actually good. Sometimes I just listen for a little bit and I get, like you get sidetracked and then you get invested in what they're talking about. And then, you get back in. But, because you burn through your podcasts really quickly, and I've got like 6 or 7 different podcasts on the go at the moment. I've actually been getting into some conspiracy, and you always you're getting your conspiracy files podcast work and like your murder mysteries and stuff like that. That's been keeping me awake.
Yep.
Except Harry, for the fact that if there's a breakdown or something and I'm having to check around the header at night time and I've just been listening to a 2-hour murder mystery, I'm really looking over my shoulder as I'm outside and stuff.
On that, Gus, when Celia and I first started dating, we were talking about how we both like listen to podcasts to fall asleep. And I remember one of the first times I stayed over at her house, she's like lying in bed. She's like, "Oh, do you mind if I fall asleep really quickly if I put a podcast on? Do you mind if I put a podcast on?" And here I am, who listens to football podcasts or Hamish and Andy or whatever, going, yeah, no worries. And she puts the first episode of I don't know if it was a crime junkie podcast, but it was a crime themed podcast on a massive set of specials they were doing on the Golden State Killer, also known as the East Area Rapist. And I'm lying there, little old humble Lachlan Town at 19 years old, listening to this set of heinous crimes,
horrific events,
and going, I can't fall asleep. I had to wait till she fell asleep, and then after about an hour and a half, because I didn't want to be rude, wanted to make sure she was asleep. I walked around and had to turn it off, and then I put my bloody Hamish and Andy on because I was like, I'm not listening to this. I'm not going to be able to sleep. No. So we've got a rule in our household since then that, Celia, you can choose the podcast we fall asleep to, but it cannot be crime related. So
no, that's good. No, because like I'll be
related,
mate. I'll be blowing the header down or something at night time, and like I'm fully kitted up in my PPE, so I got my headphone, like my earmuffs on and everything. And you go from like, it's hard to explain, but you go from you're constantly hearing noise all day because you're working around like machines and stuff. You constantly hear. And then as soon as you flick off the head, like turn the header off and then go and turn the air compressor off, it just goes to crickets. It's eerily quiet. And after you've just been listening to people...
Pardon the pun.
Slaughtered up. That's right. listen to people like getting murdered and stuff. You go, oh geez, and I don't reckon my feet hit the ground on the walk in between the header and the house. I reckon I'll do it in about 4 steps.
Big time, big time. Harry, I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure you were listening to Murder Mysteries in the Chase of In this week.
No, I was just trolling through all my sport podcasts, enjoying all of them. And then once I'd finished all of them, I'd go to music for the last bit.
What?
The 5 hours was usually the perfect time for me to get through my podcast for the day after school. Really handy.
What
Because
was
Hazard get on the tractor around like 3:30, and then we'd probably finish up around 7:30 to 8.
Yeah, so not that much. You're not getting those big, long, extended, massive hour days. What about music-wise, Harry? What was getting you run? What was the flavour of the week? I'm sure listeners are dying to know.
Music, I was just getting into the Spotify DJ work. And you just like, because you're spending that long, you don't want to be like picking and choosing your songs. Like you can't be too picky. So the randomness is actually quite handy. So like I listened to Telegraph Road. I found
that takes up 3 hours of your not anyways.
Yeah, if you listen to that in Hotel California, mate, that's an hour of your life.
And that's before you even get to America Pie.
A bit of no, actually, American Pie was getting a run. I love that song. Oasis, bit of Dire Straits, a bit of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift got up to good hour, I reckon, a couple of days ago, which was good. And a random old John Deere song that me and Nate, that I used to listen to in the car when I was crying as a toddler.
Sing us your best verse. And the crops are doing fine. Okay, I need a good listen.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
My old John Deere tractor every day. What then is it? Plowing,
planting crops, and cutting hay. The good Lord knows that I would have wanted any other way. This is gonna be so out of time.
That's right. It's like when you're in an Xbox chat and the boys are singing. When you sent that Snapchat through, Harry, of you singing that, I was like, I've not heard that song since you guys were little. And I was just listening going like, oh my gosh, I forgot that existed.
I don't know how I still knew it basically all off by heart when it was playing.
It was deep in your brain, mate.
Oh, mate,
it's
one
deep
of
those
in my brain.
Rugby league
now,
songs. But Harry,
I have one of the all-time yarns.
Okay.
Of just all time. So we're going down to the bag site. Me, Angus, and Aidan Bremner were in the back of the Triton going to the bag site, and like Jack started to chase us, and I'm there like yelling at him, go turn around, turn around, turn around, and Angus is going, oh no, it's fine, he'll just make his way home. So we've gone and done stuff at the bags.
So this is about a kilometre from the house for people listening.
Oh, it's longer than a kilometre.
The house. Okay, Harry,
the bag site. The bag site. Yeah, okay. So we go down to the bag site and we start harvesting, and like Jack's kind of chasing the tractor, and I'm like, I like walked him back to the bag site. Like, he's here with Granddad, so Granddad won't let him leave. So then I pop back in the tractor, and I've like just going about my business. Auto steers on. This is probably around 2.5 to 3 Ks away from the bag site.
They're 2.5 K runs. And
I go to turn around, and here is Jack up the other end of the farm, trotting along next to me, smiling. And I was going,
so
what?
he's and we're going about 7 Ks an hour. So he's trotted the whole way up.
Yeah, he's trotted the whole way. And I've gone, Angus, Jack's here. So then I've gone out and picked him up. He did not want to come with me. It's like he knew he was in trouble. He did not want to come with me. So I've like lifted him up into the tractor because he couldn't jump in.
Sorry, listeners.
And
we've got an appearance from a certain A. Bremner.
Aidan.
Oakwell Farm's newest employee.
Subcontractor.
No, what have you got to say to the listeners? And he's off.
Okay, so
Man
back
of
to what I
many
was
words.
saying. He can't, he wasn't going to jump into the tractor, so I lifted him up and kind of pushed him in. He was not happy with me, and he was fighting against me and he destroyed my glasses, but that's for another time. So I get him in there, turn around, start on my way back, and he is just being so well behaved. I think he was that scared that he did not move from my feet the whole drive back, and I was actually thinking I should bring him in more often. But
I wonder if he was just enjoying the view. Like when you're in the chaser bin, you're pretty high, elevated, especially for him. There's a lot for him to see. He was probably just sitting there enjoying it. And he was probably absolutely cooked from his journey.
Yeah, but he wasn't actually that excited. He was just kind of lying there, and
he honestly just looked like
time.
he was just out of it. That's what it looked like. But it was this morning, mate. This morning I shot the rifle just at something this morning, and Mitter Jack has run under the house, or what did he do? Has run to you guys, and
yeah,
he was just shaking for 5-10 minutes, and we're like, Mr. Jack, it's okay, yeah,
Cowering.
He's a little baby. Yeah, he was.
Oh, big time. No, I did think that was funny, Harry, when you sent that Snapchat through. The only thing for me, this will round out our little bit of general chit chat for the start of the show of what the fellas
the chit variety.
Okay, so Anzac Day was on Saturday, public holiday in Queensland. If we don't get the public holiday, which is an absolute rort, but not only that, because it's on a Saturday and you don't get the public holiday on Saturday, I'm going to give you a list of things that you can't do. And then I'm going to give you a list of things that I found out on Saturday that you can do. So on Anzac Day, you can't go do your grocery shopping. You can't do that, right? But why is it that Lachlan Williamtown was able to go and get a skin check on Anzac Day?
That's rogue.
I couldn't do my groceries. I couldn't go to Costco, but I could go nip on down to my local skin doctor and get a skin check at 11 o'clock. I was ready to blow up.
That needs to be sorted out in this great state.
Not only on top of all of that, you don't even get a bloody another public holiday. I was disgraced. But I was just like, I just wanted to go and do my groceries and get my meal prep on, and I couldn't.
That's sticking it to the little man.
It's not great. Do we when you get Anzac Day observed? Is Anzac Day still a public holiday, or does the Saturday just become normal and the Monday is public holiday?
They're both a public holiday.
Well, I actually saw some stats throughout the week that I'm pretty sure the reason the Queensland government said no is I think it costs the state $100 million a day for a public holiday in stuff they don't get back, which is crazy.
Yeah. Correct. And
yeah,
so I think they're also obviously looking at Labor Day coming up and going well, it's literally next Monday is a public holiday. So
yeah, but without a workforce, without a Queensland workforce, it costs the government much more, and so you've got to keep your workers happy. Okay,
yeah,
simple employee satisfaction.
I would have loved a day off, but anyway,
yeah, that's exactly. And mate. You're part of the labour force of this great state, so we need to. But I wonder
if that means that next year, when the public holiday is on a Sunday, that'll be the same thing. We won't get an Anzac Day holiday next year either.
I think they'll be more likely to give us the observed when it's on a Sunday.
Next, they'll be changing the day of our great
straight day after. I reckon it just seems a bit more realistic.
Yeah, I will say
they could have given it to us on Friday. I'm not arguing with that.
I don't think you can give a public holiday before the day's been.
Oh, it can be preserved.
One thing I will say.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, sorry, Angus. On Friday at school, we had an Anzac ceremony.
Yeah, so did we.
And a student got up there and, bless his soul, he gave the last post a red hot crack. But it
Did you know it was the last post?
Yeah, yes, you did. But if if you were playing Fortnite Festival, you weren't scoring very highly. There weren't many stars being given, or if you were
But
if
good
you were
on them.
playing
Good on them
Sing
for
Star.
having a crack.
Oh, mate, absolutely. Kudos for having a crack. And I will also say, a young Kiwi student sung the New Zealand national anthem a cappella with no music behind them, and she crushed it. So
That would have
it
been.
wasn't
That would have almost been.
wasn't
putting
all
chills
bad.
down your spine.
She smashed it out of the park.
Look,
She did
I've got to
pretty well.
say,
We
I
had
actually
our
felt
own
quite
acapella.
robbed in our Anzac Day service at school. There was no New Zealand national anthem.
Oh, was there an
But I'll
extended
tell-
Australian
look.
anthem? Were they getting into there beneath
Mate,
our
me-
radiant Southern Cross? I'll toil with hearts and hands.
Just me and Nate jobbling. Just one-upped everyone else around us. They kept playing, and like everyone's like, they're getting all patriotic, not knowing it's the extended version. Like they're all pumped up on Anzac Day. Then they're finishing with like Advanced Australia Fair, and me and Nate, we keep going because like that first line where everyone's quiet and you've got me and Nate booming out beneath our radiant Southern Cross.
We'll
felt
toil with hearts and hands.
like I reckon most of the school have voted us for Prime Minister right there and then. They were taken aback by the love we had for
Mate,
our nation.
I'd like to see Abba Chinese sing extended version.
Mate, I'm pretty sure I've heard he's tried to shorten it. So, yeah, and so look, the people who were emceeing the Anzac Day service at school were just they weren't doing a good job. Like they weren't serious. They didn't respect the occasion. Like
no, you can't.
they started it with this is exactly how it was started. It was a hello, and the primary schools all went hello, and then he goes, I didn't get a hello out of the high schools, and I'm there going, you reckon? Yeah, you reckon you didn't? Just a simple good morning, staff and good afternoon, staff and students and parents. None of this. Hello. What? No, that's woke.
None of this.
Not when you're celebrating our Anzacs, mate.
No,
They weren't getting many hellos, were they? They got a bad hello when they rolled into Gallipoli. If you've seen Saving Private Ryan,
it's a joke. It is an absolute joke.
That's
be rolling in their grave. What I will say is, I've just put it up here. Beneath our radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas, we've boundless plains to share. With courage, let us all combine to advance Australia fair.
I think we need it.
Then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
I've got to say, I think it's what we need. I think it's what we need.
Yeah.
We bring back the full anthem because that is a way better patriotic verse than the first one. I reckon we need it. Bring it back. We need the return of the full national anthem.
Yeah, definitely. On having the radio on in the header, Bella was in the header with me last night, and it was the start of the Port Geelong game, and I had the we were listening to the pre-show, and they were doing the Anzac thing, the service at the start of it, and they played the national anthem, and it just got me so fired up. And so I said, no, Bella, you need to hear this. And so I played like just Australia versus England Boxing Day, the national anthem, before Australia and England go out and play. And I'm like, do you not just feel shivers down your spine? Like, this is just the best. And I was explaining how, when we're at the Gabba test and the national anthem plays, and once it's done, you just feel such a rush of just like, let's kill these blokes.
Lachlan, I've never been to one of those Anzac observance games, which I was really disappointed I couldn't go to this game because of that. Like, Brisbane haven't had one for 15 years. Like, how was the atmosphere and the vibe of it? Like, how do you find that? Because in the members, you were right in front of it.
Yeah, I was right.
That?
I also haven't been to an Anzac observed game in a very long time. I'm trying to remember when the last one would have been that I would have been to.
Would have been ever, wouldn't it?
Nah, I went to a Q Clash that was an Anzac round game, 2019. We smacked the Gold Coast. Harry, I was amazed. Yeah, I was genuinely I was amazed at the utmost respect the crowd gave. I know I was sitting in the members, which is a bit of an older demographic. However, the whole stadium was silent the whole time. There was no idiot yipping on the other side of the stadium in general admission or someone on the piss being stupid. It was everyone gave the respect it all deserved, and it was a great ceremony and a great cause. And I just, you see the Lions home kit with the Anzac Appeal logo and then the red poppy on the other side. It was a really good occasion. And the Lions staff and everyone, the battalion that was down there did a great job.
Yeah.
It did get me thinking, Harry, before we move on to the AFL, I want to survey you boys. If you could create a bingo card, 9 squares of things that happen at either your local Anzac Day service or your school Anzac Day service, what are some of the things that are on there? I've got a few.
Go.
The first one is some young fella standing up the front trying to stand still almost faints or does faint. Someone screws up the last post. And then one, I wanted to go one for after the service. Egg and lettuce sandwiches at the morning tea.
I've got some.
You can't get much more
this is
memorial service than the egg and lettuce sandwiches.
This is going for school. The primary schoolers doing their best not to laugh during the minute silence.
Yeah.
You
look at it now and you go, oh, you'd never. But I remember being a young fella in the
I was there going
minute silence, and you'd be like, all it would take is like if one of your mates gave you a little nudge, you'd be trying your hardest not to. Yeah. And obviously that's just a not knowing really much about the occasion.
I've got some more. In a march, putting your foot through a horse gunner.
That is great. But also, mate, horse corners are massive. You should have been able to see it.
No, but when you're walking in lines of people, it's tough to.
Did you almost like trip? Did you almost just trip while doing the walk, like looking around?
No, because I was talking to my mate next to me.
Well flighted, nice.
What are some others? Just like
I've got
I've
got another one. Sorry, Harry. It was someone
the school
going.
Bands.
Yeah, the school band, or just a band in general. It's just not very good. The other one I've got is, and this goes into the Instagram reel I made this week, is someone turning to you that you don't know when you're standing there going, "Ooh, that's got a bit of bite about it this morning, a bit chilly."
Mate,
you'd always be standing
well.
up at the bar on the Anzac Day service, and someone would be there going, some like middle-aged lady would be there going, "Ooh, yeah, that's got a bit of bite about it."
It's yeah, and it's talking afterwards to the farmers, going, "Oh, weather's starting to turn, isn't it?"
Yep. It always turns it out like that.
That easterly wind's cutting through you.
Or you'd also see on the
beasterly
tables,
easterly.
You'd always see on the tables at the barn, it would be like the hottest boiling water coming out of a cup of tea you've ever seen. And you'd be like, I'm so cold on some of those mornings where it would frost on Anzac Day. And you'd be going, I don't even drink tea, but I just need to hold on to something or drink something that's going to warm me up. And you'd be like, oh, gee, that's burnt my tongue. I reckon one year I ate about 8 Krispy Kreme donuts at an Anzac service.
Oh, they had Krispy Kremes. Jeez, the budget.
I'm sorry, what? Anzac Day service had Krispy Kremes.
A Cane Killenbun did one time, and I was like, "This never happens. This is once in a blue moon type event."
I'm sick of the wheat biscuits mum's buying. I'm loading up on the Krispy Kremes.
Yeah, so I just went to town and ate so many Krispy Kreme donuts.
It was the day of like Anzac Day, Saturday morning, and I was prepping the header in the morning, and I hear like this. It sounded like a jet plane was so low, and I was like, "What the skib is that?" And I looked to my right, and there's a military, like a small, like one of the really big military cargo planes. It's a bit of like a smaller version of that.
Yeah,
and it was flying over our farm, and then it flew over Kieran's house, and it went to the bun. And then it went to Derby. Then it came back out to the bun and went to Bell. and like it was just flying around. It was sick. I got a good video of it.
Mate, they're huge. Also, from being in Darwin where we were staying near the airbase, which is near the airport, and then being near Amberley, mate, some of those massive cargo planes are massive. Like the shadow covers like most of school. It's absolutely ridiculous. And also like, just some of the kit that they've got, just absolutely. You're like, is this about to land on me?
There was nothing
when
like,
we played it.
There was nothing like playing cricket at Ivan Marsden, and like at a state champs. Because like when it would happen during the week, and they'd go like, "Oh, you've got to stop because there's just F-18s going around over the grounds, or like the massive cargo ones," and it's just like you're standing there fielding an Ivan Marsden. There's a massive kangaroo about 5 meters to your left, planes going overhead, and you're just like, DD's struggling. SEQ a 5 for 250. This is cricket.
No, it's awesome. I was there one time, and it was 2020, I think, and it was the year where they had like every day we had 40 degrees, and they had to call it off because it was a schoolboys carnival, so they like were really careful with it. And similar thing. Like there'd just be 4 F-18s coming and going, and you'd have to stop the game, and it was awesome.
Mate, ridiculous. And on massive cargo planes and planes in general. The Essendon Bombers.
Yes.
Actually, just before we get into footy, I've got a new segment for you guys.
Harry, you could have put this in the run sheet at any stage over the last week.
Bring it up now, mate.
It's a top 5 segment. I want to hear your top 5 national anthems. I will start.
US.
In number 5, I have the West Indies national anthem. No one knows what it is. I don't even know if it's an anthem, but they play it before the cricket games. Yeah, it is a vibe. Then I've got like the Scottish one. I think it's Flair of Scotland. It absolutely slaps. Number 3, I have the English national anthem. There's no country that gets around their anthem like the English do in front of a big sporting crowd. Number 2, I've got the New Zealand national anthem. I've had my yearly 6 listens to it in a weekend, and I was just like, that's way better than ours. Number 1, I have Advanced Australia Fair. You just kind of have to. You can't rank any anthem above your own. So there's my top 5 national anthem.
Good
Gus,
job,
do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You go. I can't rank my top 5.
At number 5, I'm going to say the South African national anthem.
I like that.
They always just sing it with so much passion, and it's always highly emotive. Number 4, I'm going to go the Brazilian national anthem. Same sort of reason. They're proud of their country. They're passionate. They're emotional. They express themselves to Brazilians. Now, my top 3, I'm going to go Scotland at number 3. Just a beautiful sounding anthem. It's got points for it being unique in regards to the fact it's got bagpipes and it's a bit different. At number 2, I'm going to go the French national anthem. Now, I'm not going the French national anthem because it sounds like the Brisbane Lions theme song. That's not why I'm doing it. If you watch any French team sing their national anthem, they are proud. They sing it. And they really get behind it, and it's nearly a bit like a war cry. And number 1, it's the Italian national anthem. It's upbeat, it's emotional, they love it, they sing it with so much passion, and they're so proud to be Italian. If you want to see any of this, search any Italian rugby union or football team sing their anthem. You will see grown men nearly in tears singing their national anthem. And they absolutely belt it out. So that would be my top 5, with Italy rounding it out at number 1.
Great work, fellas. Great work.
Gus, we don't expect you to do yours, but as we were saying before, Plains, the Essendon Bombers, the Collingwood Football Club. Collingwood won 20 goals, 17 to 9's 660. This will get us into the Anzac Day round. I was going to start with the Melbourne-Richmond game. The only thing I will say on that game is the banner that the teams ran through looked like a penis. And I
Oh,
don't know how that got through so many sets of eyeballs.
Male
But listeners, if you
appendage.
didn't see it, go check out the podcast page. I made a reel about it. It looks exactly like a penis.
And Dan Gorringe also copied Lachlan's
Yeah.
video. So thanks, Dan, for the support.
You'll be getting served, Dan. Although, boys, I don't know how much you saw of this game. I watched the whole thing.
I just listened to it.
I'd be interested to know your take on listening to it, because watching it, Essendon are utter dog shit. They are so bad. Honestly, they were fucking awful.
I was. So there was Noah Khan brought out a new album, and so Bella was in the header with me, and it was very much Noah dominated, but a little bit of radio here and there. And I was just looking literally at the player stats, going, "Holy dooly, Scott Pendlebury, he's on a rugby league eater."
Mate, he had it on a string. Absolutely had it on a string. Especially at the age of 37. That was his highest disposals ever. His 4th Anzac medal. 43 disposals, 10 marks, 4 clearances, 19 score involvements, and 2 goals. A record high score involvement in the game's history in his 431 game. Now, so they had 17 scores. Sorry, they had 37 scores. So 20 goals, 17 behinds. He was involved in 19 of them. That's crazy. That is mental at that age. But like Collingwood are a better team than Essendon. Don't get me wrong. And Harry and I, we sat here last week, and after Essendon's performance beating Melbourne in gather around, and then they were competitive against the Gold Coast, I thought, oh, they could do something here. And there were points where they got themselves back in the contest. Is it Dylan Sharp, their young fella that's debuting this year from Adelaide? Is it Dylan?
Yeah. Angus? Dyson
Sharp.
Sorry.
Dyson Sharp. Yep.
He takes a mark. They were down by 7 points at this point in the second quarter with about 5 minutes to go. He takes a mark in forward 50. He's about 30 out. If he kicks that, they go to within 1 point of Collingwood, nearly basically going into half time. And he kicks it into the man on the mark from a set shot, and then Collingwood end up getting on top, and then they come out and blitz them. But the thing that just despised me about Essendon's performance was just their total and utter lack of effort. I know you guys were listening on the radio, but it genuinely, at points, looked like a training drill. There was a time in the fourth quarter, I think it was early in the fourth quarter, Collingwood were going inside 50, and there were 4 Collingwood players standing free with no man near them. And I was just there going, what are you doing? Where are your men? Where are you on the ground that you are that badly out of position? Because it's either you've been sucked into where the ball carrier is, or their halfbacks have bombed up the field and you haven't gone with your man. I don't really care what it is, but I'd be interested to know your guys' thoughts listening on the radio, because watching in person, I know we've got the Bombers next week, but they were utter dross. Just the lack of skill. They were terrible going inside 50, and they just couldn't move the ball. The basic skills were terrible. If I'm a Bombers fan, fuck me, buckle up for 20 more years of pain.
I watched the first half, streamed on KO, because I obviously wanted to watch the big observance, which was a struggle, by the way. I'll get on to KO in a moment.
Oh, they had a shocker. I was watching on 7 because it was so bad.
I only watched the first half. Yeah, the Bombers were fine in my opinion, but from what you've said for the second half, didn't look like they kept playing fine. I don't really have much to say, really. I only watched one game for the round, and that was the Lions.
Gus, anything on the Bombers, mate?
Oh, just like I said, the radio wasn't only the Pies Essendon, but you'd flick it on and you'd be checking your phone, looking at scores and stuff like that, and just the holy doolies, this game is just blowing out and blowing out and blowing out.
Mate, it should have been way. Honestly, should have been more. Yeah. I've never been, honestly, the Lions next week, if they play like they did today, the Lions, oh my God, they are going to absolutely murder them. It's at Marvel too. Oh, Marvel under the roof, fast track, surely.
Look, the Lions murdered the murder of crows that were on the field today.
Yeah, listeners, you'll be listening to this. We will have already decided a title for the podcast and a graphic that will go up on social media by the time you hear this. But there's plenty of different directions I can take this, which I'm very excited to post podcast. Lions 19-13, 127 beat the Adelaide Crows 11-9, 75. I think you could probably chalk this down as our best performance of the year so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching it today going like, the first half, I having been scarred from many Lions games, said, I can't wait till we get run over the top of, because it was just the same old, it felt like the same old story. I mean, our pressure was a bit better than other weeks, but it was like we weren't kicking, like we were the better team. We weren't kicking straight. They were kicking straight. And I was like, ooh, this really doesn't look good. But then after halftime, we showed that what we said last week. No team ever beats us. We only lose because when we play like that, no one at their best can come anywhere near us. We are that far ahead of every other team in the competition. It's not funny. We just weren't we didn't make a mistake for about a quarter and a half.
Nah. Well, I think the third quarter is the best example of it. One thing I will say about Brisbane is when they have a loss like they did last week and they know and they were feeling it and they knew, I know they nearly won at the end, but they knew they were below their best. Brisbane under Fagan, it's very rare they have two bad performances in a row. If they have a loss, they always respond. They always respond and they come back and they absolutely lay it down and nearly like they've got a point to prove. I think of last year, we were there at the Gold Coast that day where they got pantsed by the Gold Coast. And I think it was the week after that we beat Collingwood at the MCG in emphatic style.
That was
and the Adelaide GWS at the Gabba, two bad performances. Or no, not bad performances, but games we should have won.
Yeah.
And then we go down to Geelong and beat them.
Yeah, and they always respond when their backs are against the wall.
I think
and so today,
like there's so many of them last year. You think of like Sydney and the Gabba into beating Freo in Freo.
Yep. And so you look at this performance, and from the second quarter onward, I mean, the first quarter they should have been ahead by a lot more, but from that onward, the Lions were unbelievable. They kicked 7 straight goals in the third quarter, which was part of a 12 of 13 run. They had 11 different goal kickers. Fagan called out his team's lack of defensive intent last week after conceding 100 plus in every loss this season. The response was absolutely there from the Lions, and they responded, in emphatic fashion, which, as a Lions fan sitting there today, having a very largely stress-free watch, was unbelievable. Lachie Neale was best on in my mind. He had 42. He had 159 fantasy points. I don't think fantasy points is the be-all and end-all of judging someone's performance, but 159 is huge. Charlie Cameron, he had 4 goals. Not only did he have 4 goals, his tackle pressure today was unbelievable. He did lay 5 tackles as well. And boys, I don't know if you saw Zach Bailey today, but my God, I hope that man doesn't leave the football club. He was unbelievable today.
I reckon he's a bit overrated though.
Sarah Smith, goodness gracious. Wash your mouth out with soap.
I'm not giving that anything. But yeah, he was excellent today.
He was really nice.
Will Ashcroft was the same. He was great.
Yeah.
Lincoln McCarthy was so good. I've got to say, that's one of the best games he's played for the Lions. Getting thrown into a new role he's never played in a senior game before. He has through preseason. But getting a lockdown job on Isaac Rankin. The only player who's really ever properly beaten Isaac Rankin, like massively, is O'Sheen Mullen. And like Lincoln McCarthy did his job. He didn't completely keep him out of the game, but you don't expect him to do that in his first game. But his genuine like impact around the ground was so low. And McCarthy was hurting him the other way. He would start our attacks really well. And I think with Noah Answorth out for a few weeks with injury, or like with the concussion, which we hope he gets the help he needs, I think Link McCarthy should be just fine for the next few weeks.
I agree. One thing also about the whole reason why Lincoln McCarthy was even playing down back is the Lions injury list. We have 6 premiership players currently not playing. So plus our first round draft pick, academy player, Dan Annable, and our backup ruck in Henry Smith. We've got Dane Zorko, Henry Smith, Jack Payne, Eric Hipwood, Darcy Gardner, Jared Berry, and Noah Answorth. 4 of those guys walk into our best defence at the moment. And so that's why you have someone like a Lincoln McCarthy having to play in that role. And yet again, another coaching masterstroke. I know he trained most of the preseason down back because of his knee, and they wanted to give him lighter loads. He was everywhere today. Looked like he was moving incredibly freely. Didn't look croppy or anything. And for a guy who's of his age, that's a testament to his preparation preseason and everything he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great footballer. I love watching Link play. He's just such a good player.
He looks like such
accurate
a good
set shot. Another thing I want to touch on is Ty Gallop down back played his best game for the club down there. He was a genuine, solid key defender. And like you look at our 3 lines and you go, how are we set up for the future? You go forward line, you got Logan Morris, you've got Oscar Allen, you've got Kai Lyman. Like you name whoever you want down there. Midfield, you've got the Ashcroft brothers, you've got Fletcher. Defense, you've got we've got the attacking halfbacks, fine. But you look at where's our next rung of key defenders coming from? We're playing with ideally a Darcy Gardner and Ryan Lester. Like they're 2 very old players, and you go, "Ooh, we might be in strife there in a couple of years." Ty Gallop has been so good. He's getting better and better every week. He played on Tex Walker and again beat him. And the intercept marking, you think about when Eric Hipwood comes back in the side. I now see a world where we play those 4 tall forwards with Ty down back.
It's yeah, I agree, Harry. It's kind of like a bit of a double-edged sword because we saw last year, he showed so much promise as a forward, and then not many guys are talented enough to kick 3 in a prelim at the MCG against Collingwood, and he did it in such style. And that you go but then you go our long term, our team is better for having him in a more versatile role. And you just think about everything he's going to be learning with Harris Andrews at the moment. It's absolutely crazy. And I mean, it's kind of like the perfect opportunity to switch these magnets around while you've got this sort of form. I mean, the Lions now moved to 4 and 3, and I got the sense today it just felt like we started to really purr. It really felt like, okay, we've got Essendon, and then we've got Carlton, and then it's Geelong on
Geelong at the Gabba. Massive game.
Again, Geelong. Port should have beaten them by way more than they did. I mean, it was a surprise that Port even won, but Geelong kicked very straight and Port kicked very not straight. So you just look at that and you go, if the Lions can get a hold of those and they get to the end of, they get to their 10 games and they sit at 7 and 3. Well, it's a very different conversation, and the Lions are very well. I think after today, the Lions are really, really tracking nicely towards another top end September finish, and not only that, a top end ladder finish.
Yeah, we were incredible. You talk about the Gabba form, you talk about us, whatever we dished up last week. And just kind of, you hear the competition go, oh yeah, Brisbane just aren't what we think they are. And like always, you write us off and we just come back and shut you up the next week.
Keep writing us off. Keep writing us off.
It's what we want.
Absolutely.
Just back on Ty Gallop. Like in game 5, he kicked 3 in a prelim final. If he did that in game 5, he's never really going to lose that. So we can always swing him forward. And I think he will go back forward when we get our troops back. Because I think he's a better forward than Eric Hipwood. He's got a higher, he probably doesn't have a higher ceiling, but when you're 19 and Eric Hipwood's probably 28 now, I think you got to make a decision. Eric's just hasn't proved enough. But I think he'll go back forward because I think that's where, like you say, kicking 3 in a prelim. But we'll be able to swing him back and have no worries at all about our depth.
Absolutely. Well, currently the Lions sit in 5th spot. They sit 2 wins away from the top, and they're 1 win away from Melbourne. So you look at that game last week, and well, it makes a difference, doesn't it? It makes a huge difference. But I mean, looking at the wider AFL as a whole, Freo, they were tested by Carlton last night. Freo got the job done. Carlton now moved to 1-6. Again, we touched on it before. Geelong, they lost to Port Adelaide at home. Geelong were strong favourites, and they had what I would say is an off night, but you kind of look at Geelong and they're kind of being primed to slide. It's a little bit like everyone sort of thinks that, the Melbourne Storm can't ever slide, and we're seeing them slide now, losing 6 in a row. And you kind of think of Geelong, like I look at them this year and go, it's not going to take much for them to not be very good. And the result that keeps coming back to me is that opening round game against the Gold Coast, where I know they had some guys out, but they were awful, like genuinely awful. So with an ageing list, and especially with Paddy Dangerfield and how sore he can be, and as well as their wider role players, there's probably something to watch there. But largely as a whole, boys, this AFL season so far, and it harps back to there being quite a big gap between the top and the bottom teams. Like we have kind of like a 2-division league at the moment. It's been an extremely easy year to tip, don't you think?
Yeah. Yes. As for the NRL,
no, mate, the NRL's been the total opposite.
But no,
we are actually just going to move on to the Broncos in a second. Before we do that, St Kilda absolutely humped the Eagles today, which
that was absurd.
They absolutely smashed them. And
which,
then,
like, people beforehand were sort of like, I wouldn't be surprised if West Coast put St Kilda away. And then St Kilda, goodness me.
I know. And then in the last game of the round, the game that I sat and and ahed so closely. I've been on the Kangas big time this year, and I sat there and went, do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do them? And then I thought, I don't know. And anyway, the North Melbourne Kangaroos went down by 7 points to GWS in what was actually a pretty good game from the bits and pieces that I saw. North made a late comeback, actually, and people would say they were maybe rubbed a little bit by a controversial late call, but GWS get the job done. And that wrapped up Anzac round. So a quick little run through maybe some spicy games. Thursday night this week, we've got Collingwood Hawthorn at the MCG. Western Bulldogs Freo.
Freo.
We've got the showdown.
Yeah, well, Port above
Port Adelaide.
Adelaide on the ladder.
Another absolute cracker, boys. I'll be tuning into this Saturday afternoon. The West Coast Eagles, the mighty West Coast Eagles against the Richmond Tigers.
Be there or be square.
Oh, goodness me. That is a tough one.
What about Geelong versus North Melbourne at GMHBA? Could North do it?
Nah, not at GMHBA.
I hope so.
If it's at Marvel, they could dust them like they did last year.
Dust them like there's no tomorrow.
And then we've got Carlton, St Kilda, Sydney, Melbourne, and Gold Coast, GWS. So kind of a mid-round. There's some good games there. There's some, again, obviously the Thursday and Friday are good, but
and then Showdown's doing some heavy lifting for the occasion.
Yeah, outside of that, once you get through Friday, we've got a double Friday evening again too.
Why? That is a joke.
Yeah, not ideal. But
I'm not about that.
because then it takes
We'll
you
be
to 2
enjoying
games
that.
on Sunday. And so,
Yeah, that's rude.
Brisbane 100 plus. We're paying $1.08. Load.
for Brisbane 100
Load.
ton.
No, $1.08 to win.
What's the line?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the rugby league. Friday night, the walking wounded Brisbane Broncos. Not many people gave them a chance, and that was an unbelievable performance from the Broncos.
Yeah, I was sitting in the tractor going, oh yeah, I wonder how the Broncos are going. Tough game, they might lose this. Hey boy, we are 26-0 up.
Yeah.
Well,
Mate, Central Coast Dean
love
Mariner
that.
scored an absolute ripping try. God, it was
saw
good.
that.
In the corner. Central
so
Coast
good.
Mariner. Central Coast Mariner. That's what me and Samuel Myers call him. After,
So
you know,
32-12. It's as good as 32-0 in my
yeah,
mind.
it's as good as that. The Bulldogs, mate. The mighty Bulldogs. They couldn't get there. But Ezra Mann, boys, my guy who needed a breakout year, 1 try and 3 try assists for the big fella.
Nice.
Go on, boy. But again, as it was against the West Tigers, Brisbane's defence, again, was just unreal. They stood up tall, and in a forward pack that's not necessarily, in a team that's not necessarily like close to their best team, if you can have good defence like that, good goal line defence, that shows effort.
It was the Brisbane crowd, mate, going, defence.
Mate, and I've got to say, NRL crowds, they are.
I always explain to people.
They're terrible.
Mate, I always explain to the Dolby Leagueies that, mate, a Sunday afternoon AFL crowd trumps an NRL Friday night crowd. Like, it's actually, you can hear, between plays in NRL, you can hear pin drops in the stadium. And, like, in AFL, there's just the constant, it's so much better.
One thing I will say, on rugby league crowds, I've got a few things there.
On rugby league.
When I was working at Telstra in 2000, it was the year before COVID, 2019. Telstra, obviously major sponsor of
one of our worst droughts in history.
Major sponsor of the NRL, and game 1 wasn't sold out, and so we managed to get some tickets filtered down through a code for free. And so Celia and I went to game 1 of State of Origin in 2019. It was crazy. But Celia, my wife, who's from Western Australia, grew up supporting the Dockers and going to the Dockers. This was her first real experience of going to hard-nosed rugby league, which is State of Origin. And so we're sitting behind the posts up in the second tier at Suncorp. And there's the rugby league crowd I'm talking about. They are tribal Queenslanders. And Seals and I sit there, she's got a chip.
Know their way around a Bundy rum can.
Yep. And so this lady walks down the stairs. This is about 5 minutes before kickoff. She walks down the stairs and she's got 4 Rumbos in one hand and 4 Rumbos in the other. So she's holding 8 Rumbos, which that's going to set you back at least
a lot of money.
90.
This day and age, mate, that's what you pocket away in a week.
Well, mate, back in that pre-COVID world, it was a bit cheaper. Anyway, so she's holding these four things of Rumbos. She sits down, and Queensland are kicking off. And so they kick off. Seals and I sitting there having a beer and whatever and eating our food. And this lady just stands up as soon as New South Wales catches the ball. Kill him! Cut his legs off! Hit him in the legs. Some language I'm not going to use that might be the C word, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Mate, and then for the whole 80 minutes, she's there just, kill him, snap him in half. Then Alfie Langer was the Maroons trainer, and she's just there, give it to Alfie. And she's just there spraying her kids. I reckon she drunk about 16 Rumbos across the evening. But Celia's there looking at me going like,
and that's where you turn to Seals and go,
what's happening? I'm like, this is rugby league. Anyway, so there was that. The other thing, my wife...
Lachlan, that's as pure as the driven snow.
Mate, exactly right. And the other thing, so Celia now working at Suncorp Stadium, she gets access to some of the messages that people send in on the antisocial helpline.
No way.
Oh, that is
No
content.
way.
After Brisbane scored their first try, someone texted the hotline and was like, "There's a horse on the field." Literally, all it was, "There's a horse on the field."
Lachlan,
So
that's an
good.
example of some rugby league excellence.
Mate,
That is
when
amazing.
she told me that yesterday morning, I fucking lost it. I thought that was so funny.
Was that a report? Was that a report texted from this weekend?
Yeah, you know how there's like the Gabba assist line,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
report
Antisocial.
antisocial behaviour, and it's always like you're always like threatening your mates, being like, "Mate, you're being antisocial.
Yeah.
Get off your phone. I'll text you in."
I think we
There's
need
a
to hit
horse
B
on the
Smith with that
field.
one.
One of the helplines was, "There's a horse on the field." And listeners, those of you that are maybe not from Brisbane or not familiar with Broncos match day experience, they have a Bronco, Buck the Bronco, and every single time
One of the
that
great bucks.
Broncos score, Chelsea Dagger plays, and he does a big U of the stadium and comes back. One thing I did actually, well, the listeners might be interested. Our mate who works at the Broncos said that as part of Buck the Bronco being a thing, they actually have in their insurance policy that if Buck the Bronco was to die mid trot in front of a set of supporters, they actually can offer free counselling to anyone that would be affected as part of the
Well,
insurance
They
policy
have to.
if he was to die.
Because imagine seeing horses. They can have a fly land on them and they'll break a leg. Imagine a horse doing a lap of the stadium, breaks a leg, boom. Sort of. It's not a great sight.
No, it's not. It's not. But I thought that was
That's
pretty funny in regards
It's
to the
just something
Brisbane
you wouldn't-
Broncos.
It's just something you wouldn't think of.
There's a horse on
No.
the field. Yeah, no shit. There is every single time the Broncos score a fucking try, mate.
Now, do we think that was a joke?
That's
Look, if
it's
it was
got
a
to
joke-
be. It's got to be.
What's funny is either way, whether it was a joke or whether it was serious, I actually think it's equally funny.
It's
No,
great
100%.
shout. As a
It's-
joke, that is so good.
It actually
Surely
reminds me.
this.
There was a point, imagine this on the Gabba assist line. There was a point when the Lions were going really bad where they considered getting a live lion to be on the field as they ran out. Can you imagine that? There's a lion either in the cage or on the field. Can we sort something out? Also, sorry, on the line, the listeners will be aggrieved and you boys will be aggrieved to know that Kick to Kick was cancelled today.
Oh, that mate, a beautiful sunny day. That's a joke.
No,
Yeah,
right today.
look.
Yeah, but it rained during the day. Did you?
It
And
was
they
an
always say,
afternoon
"Oh,
game, Harry.
mate," they always say the Gabba drains well. Hey?
Yeah. Not, mate. It depends
Oh,
which way
how
you can
funny
look at it.
how funny is at the cricket when there's a rain delay and the commentators and everyone starts getting into that? No, this ground drains well work.
No, guys, we'll be back out there. We'll be back out there. The
Boys.
game drains really well. Look,
Oh, fellas,
you
I'll tell you what, that Gabba drainage system, this
It's-
is back in 05 when we got 700 inches and we were out there playing that afternoon.
I know. It's like, yeah, the Gabba might drain well. We just got 100 mils in the past hour. So, look, I'd love to see what that does to the fresh Kookaburra.
on that though, one thing I will say about the Gabba is I know we joke and it's a little bit of a meme that the drainage is really good, but genuinely there's been Shield days where I've been there for work and it has absolutely, like, the most Armageddon storm has come over, and you'll walk out to where the
storm of
like
some
viewing
note.
area is and where the water is draining off the field, and it actually sounds like a waterfall is gushing. That's how fast all the water's coming off. So I know it's a bit of a meme, but it's genuinely
Yeah.
like you can hear it gushing through the gutters,
Well,
which I think is quite funny.
That kick to kick the other day, that's one thing I couldn't believe is how much rugby league slope there is on the Gabba.
Yeah, mate, really big. It's a mound.
Yeah.
You
No
realise
wonder
it.
why the Kookaburra runs off the bat through the covers.
But yeah, I'd love one game we should actually sit on the ground. You guys haven't sat at ground level, have you, as part of a game?
No.
I actually would love to. I would love to.
I would,
In the
but it's
members,
also
you
like,
sit
it's
the
just
whole way back.
worse.
No. I wouldn't recommend you do it as part of a whole game or for like a marquee game. But if the Lions are playing, like a game like today would have been a perfect example. Like
Yeah.
you reserve some seats up the top and then you go and watch like a quarter down the bottom, or like we
Yeah.
split. So someone reserves
Yeah.
seats down the bottom, someone reserves seats at the top, and then you go, okay, we're going to watch the first quarter down here, and then we're going to go back up the top, because it actually, I watched my first season of football at the Gabba as a Gabba member in 2019 from the bottom, and it actually had a whole different feel. You sit as far back as you can, but because of the Gabba being a mound, and on the other side, on the members' side of the Gabba, it like slopes really high up, you actually end up sitting like directly in line with the ground level of the square. It actually gives you a great vantage point. I really enjoyed it. It's worth actually checking out. But boys, not to get sidetracked talking about the Gabba and the Lions and whatever. The Broncos, they now play the Roosters and then the Sea Eagles before then. It then takes us into Magic Round, where I believe they play the Warriors. Yep, they do. They play the Warriors. So
for Magic Round, can we get some tickets courtesy of Seatown?
Yeah, we can explore it. She's not working all of Magic Round, but we can definitely. I would definitely like to get along to some of it. That's for sure. I'm sure we could make some good content.
I'd love to go to at least a day.
To go to Magic Round.
Yeah, dude, that'd be terrible. That'd be awful.
Round full of Magic, they're calling it. That's what they're calling it.
But it's good to see from the Broncos. Actually, I feel like, boys, they if they can keep winning their way through this period, they will really put themselves in good stead for when they start to get some boys back, because it has been. They would be totally forgiven for falling away a little bit where they sit in 7th at the moment, and they play the Roosters, who are in 5th, and then Manly, who are in 6th, the Warriors after that. So they've got a team coming 5th, a team coming 6th, and a team coming 2nd over their next 3 games. So, I mean, look, if they can win 2 out of those 3, I mean, 2 of those are at Suncorp. One of them is classed as a away game.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Does it make you feel warm and fuzzy inside seeing Storm 6, South Sydney Rabbitohs 48 at Amy Park?
Not really. I kind of like the Storm because they always had like a heap of Queenslanders.
Yeah, but there's just something I like about the Storm not just being like, it was so mundane. Storm always being good.
But it's also satisfying when you see. It's satisfying when you'd see a team that was a successful team that you didn't like fall off a cliff that you lost a lot to. Like, I know the Broncos have lost a lot.
Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond's another one. Demons are another one. But with the Storm, they just are such a good example of how to run a really good club, not just from the point of what they've done on the field, but the way that Bellamy and the way that the wider Storm culture makes guys approach their life off the field. Like, he makes new recruits come into the club and work on the tools for a week and still come to training in that time to teach them how fortunate they are. And they do things like that. They have a very strong community feel. They've given a lot of guys second, third chances that have then put their career back on the right track. And so you kind of look at them and you go like, geez, like it does actually, like, and we're going to get onto a little bit more on them in a second, but it just, I don't know, like, it just feels wrong. It feels like there's a glitch in the matrix or something. Like, the Melbourne Storm should not be losing 6 games in a row, or even losing 48-6 at home.
Like, on the topic of feeling warm and fuzzy inside, how does Thursday, 14th of May, Brisbane Geelong at the Gabba into Magic Round sound?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's not bad.
That is
glorious.
Great.
That's glorious.
Glorious.
Sorry,
Wendy
Mum.
Waters.
Sorry, Mum and Dad.
No, sorry. Thursday night, I'll be at Women's Origin, mate. I won't be at Suncorp. Oh, sorry, I won't be at the Gabba. I'll be there, mate.
Just next. That's all I have to say to that.
But yeah, it'll be very much watch this space on the Broncos. But boys, we're on to the stock exchange.
Ooh.
It's a buying and selling, no fence sitting, 30-second answers. Now, Angus, welcome back to the stock exchange. You weren't a part of the stock exchange last week when I asked Harry for the first question if Carlton were going to play finals to see his response, and he wasn't happy with it. So, the first one
Did
here.
he say yes?
He insulted the question.
Valid.
But the first one I'm going to say, this harps back to the point we were just making, re the Melbourne Storm. Melbourne Storm missed the finals and Craig Bellamy walks at season's end. Buy or sell?
Sell. I don't think Craig Bellamy's going to walk.
I'm
miss finals, but I don't think he's going to walk.
They'll miss finals, but Craig Bellamy's not going to leave.
You don't think he might step aside and go, I've done all I can with this group. I know I'm still contracted, but it's time for a new voice and a new direction?
It's always
He's got nothing left to prove as a coach.
He's
got nothing left to prove as a coach.
From just if people come knocking. How old is Craig?
Craig Bellamy would be early 60s, I reckon.
He's got more footy in him. He's got more footy in him. If another club comes knocking, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes, you know what? Yeah, I will. But
he's 66.
He's not going to walk and go into nothing, I don't think.
But I don't think he could move up into an administration role at the Storm. He doesn't necessarily need to stay as a coach. The reason why I'm not necessarily convinced about Craig Bellamy in regards to him wanting to go to another job, he spends most of his time at Coolangatta. So if you are in Coolangatta in the off season, you'll see Craig walking around with his wife and his dog, and you see him a lot. I've seen him there multiple times. The thing about Craig is that the Titans have come in for him before. They've come in for him. He nearly went. He very much denied, but he ended up staying. That was a few years ago now. If he's going to go anywhere that's not the Melbourne Storm, the Gold Coast Titans were the club. And so I kind of feel like for him, he might get to this point where he goes, you know what? If the season keeps going the way that it has, they currently sit in 16th spot and have won 2 games for the year.
That's crazy. The Storm.
They might have only won 1 game for the year they've definitely won 2. They've definitely won 2. He might end up sitting there being like, I don't think I've got I don't think I'm the guy to take this group moving forward. I think I've taken them as far as they have, or the club as far as they have, and he may walk. That's my only reasoning. He will be 67 next season. He'll be 67 next season. So I know everyone looks at Wayne and goes, oh, he's got plenty of footy left in him, but Wayne's a one of a kind. Like, I don't necessarily think Craig Bellamy looks at Wayne and goes, I want to be doing what he's doing at that age. I want to be on the beach at Coolangatta.
I quite like the sound of him going to the Titans, though. Like, surely he goes... I mean, I don't even know much about rugby, but I wonder if he goes, I've never been anything here. Like, I can go to this club for 4 years, for like even 2 years, and like kind of get them on the right track because no one's been able to do it. He might see that and like the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, there's every chance of it. I can't see him wanting to start again at the age of 67 or older at a new club. Yeah. I feel like that time for Craig has been and gone. Like, you can keep running it out in the systems and everything you've already built, but does he have it in him to build something new? Time will tell. We've probably spent a little bit more time on that. So you guys are both saying,
well, boys, the stock market's nearly closed.
Yeah, you guys have both said you think he will be at Melbourne next year, which is fair enough. The next one, Freo will finish higher than Brisbane on the ladder at the end of the season.
Sell.
I'm buying.
Brisbane, Freo are 5-1. The Brisbane are 4-3.
I'm buying. Freo are the real deal. The one game they've lost is Geelong. In Geelong, they're rarely going to lose. Which they should have won. Yeah, which they should have won. They're rarely going to lose in WA. I think Brisbane haven't banked the wins. Freo have. I think Freo will finish higher.
Yep. Gus, you're selling? Any reason you reckon they might fall off?
I think so. And I reckon Brisbane are warming up a bit.
Oh, that's fair enough. The Western Bulldogs can still make the top 6 without Sam Darcy.
I don't think it's necessarily without Sam Darcy. I think it's without English, Waitman.
Yeah.
And just
I think they've got
some notable role players who have gone. Yeah, I'm going to say
they've got a fair injury cloud.
I'm going to say sell.
Yeah, same. I'm going to go sell too. I feel like there's a fair cloud looming over that side.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to call, isn't it? The Brisbane Broncos make the 2026 NRL Grand Final.
I'm selling.
You don't think they will?
Well, they haven't
it's
exactly
so
filled me
early.
with much confidence of the rugby league variety.
I'm saying buy. Like, there's so much time left, but I'm saying, yeah, they absolutely can. If this is how they're playing without Hunt, Walsh, Haas, well, you name their best. The 13 that's injured is better than the 13 that's playing. Once they all come back, if they can just get through this period, and they're playing pretty well in this period, I think they can definitely make the final.
Well, look, if we want to get to the roots of this segment, I'm not confident in buying into that stock, and so therefore I'm going to sell out of it.
No, that's fair enough. I'm going to buy this. I haven't given an opinion on the other ones. I'm going to give an opinion on this one because I've got an interesting point. I am going to buy into them. I know the Broncos currently sit in 7th, but if you look at the people around them, look at the teams around them. Panthers, obviously, you can basically, at least from what it looks like right now, leave them alone. You've then got the Warriors, the West Tigers, the Rabbitohs, the Roosters, and the Sea Eagles. I look at each of those teams, and Brisbane's best, and when they're on and they've got their wider squad back, they're better than all of those teams.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm going to buy because I feel like if Brisbane can just keep nabbing these wins and these performances while they've got these guys down, even the guys immediately after Brisbane, the Cowboys, no, Sharks, no, Bulldogs, no. If you look at those and you then scroll through that list, the only one in that list I think that can compete with the Broncos is the Rabbitohs, but can they go the length of the season to make the grand final? Time will tell. But I'm going to buy into that stock. I'm going to say they are. Bit of a change up here. Rory McIlroy wins another major in 2026.
Buy. He's too good. Not too. I just look at it and go, how can he not?
Yeah, I'm buying. Look at the lead he created just in the first 2 days at the Masters.
Are you boys willing to put a major on which one that will be?
The Open.
I mean, that would be right, wouldn't it? But no, I'm not putting it on a specific major.
He loves a fairy tale. Another another Open in front of what would basically be a home supporting crowd. I think that's the one that stands out to me.
Jordan Spieth can complete the career Grand Slam at the PGA Championship in a little bit. I think it's in a couple of weeks. Is 2026 the year?
Nah, I don't think he'll ever do it, but it's a great story that'll keep on happening. He's just hasn't looked like it for 8 years.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah,
I'm selling.
It's kind of interesting. I want him to do it so bad because I think that he's such a likable guy. I know he's like a little bit, he gets angry and whatever. But like,
don't we all golf?
Yeah,
it makes him. I feel like the angry golfers are the ones we like more.
Yeah, I just feel like from
Sergio.
Looking at Jordan and you see the way that he is, I think it would be a great story for golf. I also think it would be a great story for golf as a whole for this current generation to have another one reach that career Grand Slam milestone. I think that would be really nice. This one here, this is more a question for Harry. I don't think that Gus is going to have an opinion on this, but Gus, if you do, you can give it.
I actually do have an opinion on this, mate.
The NBA playoffs produce a first-time champion in 2026.
No, I think I think it just looks like it's going to be OKC.
I agree, Harry.
And
they're too good. And if it's not them, it's probably Celtics.
Have you seen? Just touching on OKC, have you seen they've got a lottery pick for next year?
Yeah, mate, they are one of the best. They've been one of the best run organisations. They have I was actually just chatting tonight with Toby, who did the food review with me today. He's a big Philly fan. And we were just chatting about the fact that, like, you know, he immediately brought up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right? And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not someone who they got in a
no.
He didn't come from a draft pick. He came from the Clippers as part of the Paul George trade. So not only did they get someone who turned into an industry piece, they then also got picks that they have then turned into their wider squad.
Yeah.
And for that reason, with all of the other stuff that they've got to come, they have just been they have just played the wider NBA landscape perfectly, and it's a testament to their head office. Angus, do you have anything to add to that one?
No, not that one.
Okay. So you're selling because you're selling.
Yeah, mate, I'm selling. Look, I'm not bothered reading up on that, so I'm selling it.
Now the other one, which will be our last one of the stock exchange this week, is both the EPL title and relegation are going to be decided on the final day.
Can you blokes explain relegation to me?
So, Angus, relegation. So to relegate means that you are, it's demoted. You're demoted.
Yeah.
So,
Is this where you go
English,
down to the league below?
yes, so you go down to the league below. So the bottom three in the Premier League go down, and in the Championship, which is the next division, the top two automatically go through, and then the other four teams after them go into a playoff. So they play two-leg playoffs between third and sixth and four and fifth. The winner of those goes into a game that's at Wembley. It's a one-off game. The winner gets into the Premier League. The loser stays in the Championship. It is a massive... If a Premier League team goes down, especially a big Premier League team, it is a massive deal. Massive.
And so Arsenal, because weren't they going really, really well, and then they've been going shocking?
Correct. They've started to wobble. Man City have won their games in hand and have caught up. They are now equal on goal difference, and basically means that Man City are ahead on goals scored.
And so they're possibly going to be playing for the EPL title.
Yes. They are. It's between them and Man City.
And so who's looking like they could get relegated?
So two teams have already gone down, Burnley and Wolverhampton. And Tottenham Hotspur, who are one of the biggest clubs in England. They're in the Big Six, I would say.
I didn't know that.
They
14 days.
Right now, Tottenham, who won the Europa League last year, they would be favourites in the race to go down. It's going to be either them or West Ham United.
Oh, West Ham.
If Leeds or Forest went down, I don't even know. That would be crazy. So it's basically, you don't need to give an answer here, Angus, but Harry definitely will. It just is it going to come down to the final day?
I think it will. I'm buying into that.
I'm buying it. I think it's not going to get to more than 4 points and a big enough goal difference with 3 points on the last day. Like, it's just too close. Like, we've got the same goal difference and it's on goals scored, for goodness sake. Like, I feel like it has a bit of both of the teams either winning out or we both lose one. I think it's more likely both losing one. It's got a lot of, if Arsenal lose first, like
what Arsenal?
I'm predicting we'll both drop a game, and if Arsenal drop the first game, I think they lose. I think whoever drops the first game will lose.
Yeah,
so I'm buying that it'll happen on the last day.
So the unspoken part in all of this is that if the season ends and they're both on the same amount of points, the same goal difference, Manchester City will win because they have taken more points in the head-to-heads this year. So City beat Arsenal 2-1, and then it was a draw in the game at the Emirates, meaning that City will win the title. Now, the other unspoken part in all of this for Arsenal is they have Champions League semi-finals against Atletico starting on Wednesday, April 29th. So they're challenging for a title and trying to get into the Champions League final against a Diego Simeone Atletico Madrid team. That's a lot. There's a lot on their plate. City are into the FA Cup final after they won last night, and they've just got the league to worry about with a very wider squad. So I think that everything points towards City, but Arsenal could still do it. I definitely think they could still do it.
Yeah, I think City have gotten this reputation as people see us as what we were like 3 years ago. We're not that. We'll stumble again at the end of this year. We're not clinical as we were. It's so interesting. whoever wins this will be the worst Premier League winners for the last 20 years.
Yeah, big time.
Who was
and
worse
then
before that, Harry? 21 years ago, who was worse than...
Blackburn Rovers.
Yes, probably Blackburn Rovers, and they won in 94, 95, Harry? Was it 95, 96?
Yeah.
I think it was 94, 5.
I think they won the first one, yeah.
Nah, Blackburn won mid-90s. Alan Shearer played for him. Oh, actually, Gus, you'd probably say Leicester City. I know it was a fairy tale story, but they've definitely been the worst Premier League champions in terms of if you could simulate them up against previous Premier League champions, they would get
come last.
They'd lose. Is the way to look at it.
And when did they win?
2015, 16, 10
and they've
years
actually
ago.
just been relegated to League Two. League One.
Roger.
They've been relegated 3
But-
times.
The double rally. Not the
No,
double rally. God.
So Tottenham Hotspur, the good news here,
They're
Gus,
proper
for
Reggies now.
mate, the good news is for Tottenham Hotspur is they won their first Premier League game of 2026. So they hadn't won before that since December, and they won their first game under their new manager, Roberto De Zerbi. They had an 82nd minute goal against Wolves, ended a 15-game winless streak in the Premier League. And so what then ended up happening was the game had finished. They'd won 1-0. They were out of the relegation zone until Callum Wilson scored a stoppage time winner for West Ham, which meant
That was it. So really nothing changed.
Yeah.
However, Harry, we sat here last week after their last game. Opta had them at a 48.5% chance of going down. That's now increased to 60.2%. So Opta, the world's biggest data platform in the Premier League, believes that they are a 60% chance to go down. Huge.
I kind of don't agree with that. I feel
Huge
like,
if true.
I feel like the monkey off the back getting this win could just wake themselves up and they can grab. I think they probably need to pinch one more win and maybe a couple draws, maybe 2 wins, and they're home.
Still 2 points behind West Ham because they also won.
Yeah, but I think like what often happens in these scenarios, the cream rises to the top, and they've learned how to win again after a long time.
So okay, Harry. Let's have a look. If we bring up the Premier League table, right? So Spurs have 4 games left. Spurs currently have 4 games left. They on 34 points. West Ham are on 36. Spurs' 4 games that they have left are this. They play Aston Villa away, Leeds at home, Chelsea away, and Everton at home. So how do you forecast those games going for them?
I think they can beat Leeds. I reckon they can take a point against Chelsea. And I reckon they can beat... These are all best-case scenarios. I mean, obviously, best-case scenario is a win. But I think they can beat... who have they got last day?
Everton.
I think
at
they
home.
can beat them. At home, yeah.
So in regards to you saying they can beat Leeds, Leeds are currently undefeated in their last 5.
Yeah, but it's Leeds, mate.
Yeah, I know that.
If
They're just
Tottenham play well, they've got a way better squad. If they play well, they win. And I think if you look at all the other teams, Leeds are the ones that have a bigger chance of beating.
Regardless, it's going to be a captivating finish and one that we will be keeping a very close eye on. Like I'm sure our resident football hobbyist, Angus Town, will be keeping a close eye on. That's for sure.
Look, boys, my eyes will be glued. My eyes will be glued to this EPL.
I will say this, and I'll say this to anyone who's listening to this that isn't
showdown.
necessarily... anyone who's not necessarily a big football fan, this final day, if these 2 things come down to the final day, for any neutral, it will be a historic moment to watch if Tottenham Hotspur get relegated. Like, genuinely, it will be like... I don't even know how to describe it. Ridiculous. Great for the neutral.
It's the death of the Big Six.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
big time.
Fathom it. It's crazy.
Sorry, Angus. I know I cut you off, encouraging listeners to watch the final day. What were you going to say, mate? While he snacks on his Easter bunny.
Well, About Easter bunnies, I think Cadbury is starting to go woke because I'm working through the last bit of my Easter chocolate, and Cadbury chocolate, I don't know what it is, but in the last couple of years hasn't tasted like Cadbury used to. That's all I'm going to say.
That's also been sitting on your.
It has been sitting on my
since Easter.
desk since Easter.
It's probably melted. It's probably at night, frozen itself back up. I'm not surprised it doesn't taste.
Absolutely. Now, listeners, to round out the show, remember, please, if you are enjoying the show, to leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to. It really helps our podcast get discovered and would mean the world. Before we wrap up the show, we're going to have Red, White and Roux episode 3 dropping later this week. We are 7 weeks out from the World Cup. The excitement is building, and Harry and I are going to cover a lot more to come. So please check that out later in the week when it comes out. Thank you for all the love on Angus's Town Files episode. We've had some positive reviews. Gus, has anyone reached out to you in regards to your interview, or Harry in regards to your interviewing?
Couple of mates. But other than that, a lot of people have been saying it was good. So yeah, that's good.
What about you, Harry? Anyone on your marvelous interviewing?
Nah, I've had a few people talk about Angus's part in it, but not so much my interviewing, which is good. It's not about interview.
Any feedback you'd like to share, mate, from Angus's episode that you've heard?
I've had a few people say we should have had our answers ready. Actually, no, I did have reports on my interviewing. They loved, after listening to mine, they loved how I made up a heap more rapid fire questions.
Yeah, I heard that as well.
So that's just me being good. That's just me being the quickest thinking brother. So I'm surprised they were surprised.
No, your questions were good, Harry.
Now, those of you that are sitting there going, we should have had our answers ready. The reason why we didn't is because we didn't want it to be perfectly curated and wanted to get some genuine responses. So
yeah,
I didn't want it to be a robotic answer in question format. Now, my Town Files, where Angus interviews me, drops on the 30th of April, this Thursday. So make sure you check that out when it comes out. Boys, that's been another episode of Talk of the Town. We will catch you in the next one. Boys, thanks for joining me. Over and out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye now.
Bye.